Hi, it's Sarah with Fit Healthy Moms. I want to talk to you today a little bit about some considerations for postpartum exercise. So after you have a baby, your body's really out of whack, and there's some things that you may or may not know about exercising after that. So it's really important, first and foremost, that you have your doctor's permission to exercise. Typically with a vaginal delivery, you're allowed to exercise 4 weeks after delivery if there weren't complications or any major tearing. And after a C-section, you're typically allowed to exercise about 6 weeks after the C-section. But it's always really important that you get your doctor's permission first. So make sure at your first postpartum checkup that you ask about exercise. Don't just jump back into it. Now there are things that I've talked about before on my blog on Fit Healthy Moms about being able to walk beforehand. You can certainly do some isometric core work beforehand in terms of doing your zippers and doing some pelvic floor exercises. So there's certain things that you can do immediately. But in terms of like a full-fledged workout where you're lifting weights and getting in intense cardio and those kinds of things, you want to make sure you have your doctor's permission. So from there, some things to be really aware of, which you might already be aware of because they're feeling a little maybe rusty around the edges. There's a handful of things in your body that are not functioning like they used to, and it's up to you to really re-strengthen and recondition those things. And those are going to be really important parts of your recovery from being pregnant, your recovery from childbirth, and then getting strong again. And some of those things are really important before you even start the exercise component. So along those lines, your pelvic floor. If your pelvic floor is not re-strengthened before you start a workout program after you have a baby, you run the risk of all sorts of different kinds of injuries. So it sounds kind of silly, but those Kegels are really, really important. So make sure you're doing Kegels as soon as you can after you have that baby, and then really keeping up on them. Getting that pelvic floor reconditioned is going to be essential in re-strengthening your core, protecting your low back, and just posturally keeping everything in line. So I know it sounds kind of funny because it seems like this really little thing that's like very buried under the rest of all of your parts, but very important to get that pelvic floor reconditioned. In addition to that, you want to be really aware that your core is going to be extremely weak after having a baby. So you want to be doing core work, but you don't want to be doing core work that's going to give you that diastasis recti, where you're going to actually pooch out rather than pulling back in. So making sure that you're doing some core work to strengthen your core. If you've read my stuff about diastasis recti, that would tell you exactly how you can do that if you do have that separation. If you don't have the separation, then you can go ahead and do some just traditional regular core exercises. But the significance of re-strengthening your core is that if this part of your body is not strong, everything that comes out of your body for exercise, movement, coordination, balance is all going to be thrown off and be weak. And this is extremely weak after having a baby. So you want to make sure that you're pulling that core in, re-strengthening, reconditioning on a very regular basis. That doesn't mean you need to be going and doing like major ab workouts every day. It just means that you're really aware of your posture, standing tall, pulling in on a regular basis, being conscious of pulling in. And then whenever you do exercise, be aware of in every position that you go into, whether I'm going into a push-up, my core is tight. I'm going to pulling, my core is tight. I'm going into a lunge, my belly is pulled in. The other part of that is that you may or may not have some low back strain or discomfort after having a baby, because everything you do after having a baby, you're bent over like this. So you're bending over changing a diaper, you're bending over getting in and out of the crib, you're bending over just when you're nursing and cuddling. So this part of your back is going to be really, really compromised because you're constantly doing this on a part of your back that really wants to have a little bit of curve in the opposite direction. So there's going to be a lot of strain there. Additionally, that weaker front area is going to pull on there as well. So you want to be very, very aware and protective of that low back by strengthening the core, doing some low back exercises, doing some front abdominal exercises, getting that reconditioned. Now, like I just mentioned, you're bending over a lot after you have that baby. So your upper back is also going to be having a little bit of trouble potentially. If you imagine every time I bend over I'm doing this, and every time I nurse or even bottle feed I'm doing this. So after a while, moms kind of get this thing going on. And so you really, and in addition to this being fatigued and at risk for injury, you also have your chest pulling and tightening through here. So you want to be doing some exercises and stretches that are going to pull this back, lift your chest up, open up, and actually stretches and exercises are great for this area, but the other thing that's really nice is a massage. So if you have the opportunity to get massage, I would highly recommend it. Another thing you can do if you can't get massage is get a foam roller and lay on that foam roller and roll it around and just get that back, allow that chest to open up over the roller, get that back stretched out, worked out, get those kinks out of there. So the other thing to be aware of with postpartum exercise is jumping. So jumping, a lot of moms want to go right into, as soon as they have their doctor's permission, go into some high impact exercise, which is awesome. And it's really good for weight loss and getting those intervals in. And we talk about intervals all the time on Fit Healthy Moms. There's so many benefits to interval training. But if you try to jump like into jump roping, burpees, jump squats, maybe even running, you might start peeing your pants. So again, back to the Kegels, which is kind of where it all begins. Make sure you recondition that pelvic floor so that you can do some of those higher impact activities. The things that involve the jumping and the higher impact and the pounding, which can be really great for the cardiovascular benefits, but they can really impact the whole bladder area. So I don't want you peeing your pants on the treadmill. I don't want you peeing your pants in the middle of the gym. It's a little embarrassing. So making sure that you get that pelvic floor condition so that you can jump, that can be one thing that can be really surprising to new moms. They sign up for a boot camp, they go to the first day of boot camp and they're like, oh my God, I'm like peeing my pants the whole time. So be aware of getting that pelvic floor re-strengthened as soon as you can after you have your baby. The last thing I want to touch on with postpartum exercise is just be really aware of your body image and where you're at. Postpartum exercise can be really challenging for moms from a mental standpoint because you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you know where your body was before you got pregnant and now where your body is now, and there can just be this mental disconnect of not really acknowledging that your body just went through something really major and it's going to take a little time to recover from that. Now, I don't by any means think that it needs to take 9 months. I'm not a big fan of the philosophy that it took you 9 months to gain the weight, so it's going to take you 9 months to lose the weight. I think you certainly can lose your baby weight in less than 9 months. So being diligent, being disciplined, being really focused and determined, that's definitely going to help you out. But also give yourself a break. Your body has been through a big event. You're probably not sleeping well. You may or may not be nursing, which adds like a whole nother dynamic and demand on your body. So be really aware and give yourself some credit for you're doing a lot of stuff right now, and kind of let the body stuff come as it will. Of course, I want you to eat really well. I want you to get in that regular exercise, but don't be a slave to the scale. Don't be getting on the scale every day, complaining, and don't be trying on the same skinny jeans every day and feeling really depressed about them. Do things that are gonna empower you. Exercise to feel good. Eat well to nourish and fuel your body. And from there, if you're really consistent with that, the weight loss will come off. And of course, we have all sorts of ways to help you with that here at Fit Healthy Moms. So anytime we can be of help, make sure that you get in touch with us. Follow us on fithealthymoms.com. And you can also look at our 6-week pregnancy weight loss program at 6weekpregnancyweightloss.com. And we give you all sorts of full workouts and recipes and meal plans on that with that program. So we'll see you soon and have a great day.